I never expected it to happen. Love was supposed to be a slow burn, a conscious choice, a gradual realization. But one day I looked at him, my best friend, and everything changed. We had always been close. Late-night conversations that blurred into early mornings, inside jokes that made sense only to us, an unspoken bond that felt unbreakable. He was my safe place, my constant in a world that often felt chaotic. But I never saw him like that, until the night everything shifted. It was a cold evening, the city lights flickering like tiny stars as we walked along the empty streets. The air smelled of rain, and our hands brushed for a second too long. A spark, small, yet undeniable, ignited between us. He turned to me, his eyes darker than I'd ever noticed before, and there was something there. Something I wasn't ready to name. "You ever wonder what it would be like?" he asked suddenly, his voice hushed, hesitant. I swallowed. "What do you mean?" He let out a slow breath, his fingers grazing mine again, this time deliberately. "If we were more than this." My heart stuttered. I should have laughed it off, should have made a joke, should have turned away. But I didn't. Because deep down, I knew. I had wondered. I had dreamed. And now, the possibility stood before me, waiting. "We'd probably ruin everything," I murmured, but my voice was shaky. He smirked, that signature playful grin that always made me roll my eyes, but this time it made my stomach tighten. "Or," he said, stepping closer, "we could make everything even better." That night, I couldn't sleep. The weight of his words pressed against me, my body hyper-aware of the way he looked at me, the way his fingers lingered when we said goodbye. The air between us had changed, charged with something I had tried so hard to ignore. Days passed, then weeks, and I kept telling myself it was nothing. But it wasn't. Because every time he looked at me, my breath caught. Every time he laughed, my chest ached. Every time he touched me, I felt it in places I shouldn't. And then it happened. It was late. We were in my apartment, sprawled on the couch, a bottle of wine between us. His arm draped lazily over the backrest, his fingers just inches from my shoulder. We were talking, but I wasn't listening. All I could hear was the pounding of my heart. All I could feel was the magnetic pull between us. "You're staring," he murmured, amusement flickering in his eyes. I exhaled a shaky breath. "So are you." A beat of silence, and then he moved, slowly, deliberately, giving me every chance to stop him. But I didn't. His lips brushed mine, tentative at first, as if testing the waters. But when I gasped, he took it as permission. The kiss deepened, his hands finding my waist, pulling me closer. I melted into him, into the heat, the familiarity, the rightness of it all. There was no hesitation, no second-guessing, just us, tangled together in a moment that had been waiting to happen for far too long. We stumbled into my bedroom, our bodies pressed together, our hands exploring, learning, relearning. He was gentle, but there was urgency in the way he touched me, as if he had been holding back for years. And maybe he had. Maybe we both had. His lips traced a path down my neck, my collarbone, my chest, and I let go of every doubt, every fear. This was him, my best friend, my everything. And as we fell into each other, I realized this wasn't the end of our friendship. It was just the beginning of something deeper, something more. The morning light spilled through the curtains, painting golden patterns across the sheets. He was already awake, watching me, a lazy smile on his lips. "So," he murmured, brushing a strand of hair from my face. "Did we ruin everything?" I smiled, tracing my fingers along his jaw. "No, I whispered. I think we just made everything even better. And I meant it, because love wasn't about finding something new. Sometimes it was about seeing what had been in front of you all along, and finally reaching out to take it.